Good afternoon. This is Elizabeth Theslow for Abolition News Network, July 20th, 1868, for what seems to be a major victory of the northern states and congressmen. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution has been ratified by a 3/4 majority vote, and it was just announced by Secretary of the State William Seward. Here to tell us what it means and the debates that took 2 years to accomplish ratification is the author of the 14th Amendment from Pennsylvania on the Committee on Reconstruction, House Representative Mr. Thaddeus Stevens. Good afternoon.
How do you do, Ms. Beslow?
How do you do?
Pleased to be here today.
Nice to meet you. First, let's start with why was the 14th Amendment controversial at all, and what did you want to do?
Ms. Beslow, the 13th Amendment just abolished slavery. That's all. But it didn't prevent oppression of the most cruel kind. Further legislation was needed to prevent the rebels from regaining by fraud and finesse what they had lost by arms on the battlefield. I had to insist at the end of the debates in 1866 that we can't with haste restore men who had slaughtered 500,000 of our countrymen, including all of my fellow Pennsylvanians on the battlefield at Gettysburg, until their clothes are dried. I refuse to sit side by side with men whose garments are smelling of the blood of my kindred.
I understand. I see your point. But we have to move forward to restore the southern states, don't we?
Yes. But I want to say that I inserted in paragraph 3 in the amendment which I introduced in the House on the 30th of April, 1866, wording which will let the rebels know that we want to extend the punishment of the Civil War by stating that all persons who voluntarily adhered to the insurrection be excluded from the right to vote for their representatives in Congress or for the President until at least July 4th of 1870. That will teach them a lesson.
Wow, well, I can feel your venom rising from over here. Let's get to the main purpose and how it got passed.
All right, I'll try to simplify it. It is the first section which I originally submitted on April 30th, 1866. I did get in, even though the penalty of 1870 was taken out, that no person shall be elected or hold any office who had engaged in insurrection or rebellion of any kind against the United States. That means the Civil War.
Well, I see you managed to get your revenge in. Let's go on to why the amendment took so long to get through to Congress. What was the opposition to giving all citizens equal protection of the laws?
Well, let me see. I have some quotes here. Here, I'll give you this one. Mr. Rogers, in the House, spoke of the despotism which the people of the South would be subjected to, the degradation of being obliged to go to the polls and vote side by side with the Negro.
That's a terrible reason.
Yes, well, I have another one I saved. This is from Mr. Raymond of New York. His disapproval was because, quote, opinions could not be controlled by force, and that with any people fit to be free, or be the countrymen of men who are free, all such efforts defeat themselves and intensify and perpetuate the hostilities sought to be overcome.
Well, I didn't expect to hear that. Can you give us one more in opposition? And then I want to hear from someone that's in favor of the amendment.
All right, here's one. Representative Banks said, quote, no policy would meet his approval which left the political society in the South unchanged. They do not seek to govern by opinion. They do not rely on ideas for success. They govern by force. Their philosophy is force. Their tradition is force. It frankly does not fully meet the emergency, unquote.
All right, well, enough. Now we should try the amendment that was that be passed.
Well, I would choose what Mr. Boyer of Pennsylvania stated. every hour, quote, during which we govern the 11 states with their 12 million people as conquered provinces, carries us further away from the original landmarks of our Constitution and brings us nearer to military despotism, unquote. And let me repeat the real purpose as stated in Section 1 as it was ratified. Amendment 14, Section 1. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws.
My name is Jane Flum, and I'm the receptionist here at A&N. And I have serious doubt whether you can force that amendment on the South. The physical battle is over, but the battle of old ideas is still with us. The rebels were not made in a day, nor can they be made a patriot in a single day. They are the legitimate offspring of years of slavery, and we would be naive to think that they can become a patriot in an hour. It will take specific civil actions for this first section to be realized.
Well, I hope you're wrong, Ms. Flum, but in any case, the 14th Amendment is a good start in restoring main equal rights, principles of the Declaration of Independence, and thank you, Mr. Thaddeus Stevens, for explaining, and thank you for explaining the meaning of the amendment. And you know what, who knows, the amendment Equal Protection Clause might come one day to apply to women's rights, as well as men, to education, voting rights, and even marriages. This is Elizabeth Beslow for A&N saying good afternoon.